We stopped 100 clicks from Moscow to check our Geiger counters. The thing is, they are all in the green, as if they're in a conspiracy. Still, this amazing piece of news doesn't really impress anyone that much. The guys are all confused as to what to do next. And I'm just waiting for answers. And hoping the commander, whom until recently I trusted implicitly, is going to be extremely persuasive in his reasoning.
Welcome back, everybody, to Metro Exodus Boston Plays. We've escaped Moscow, and we are entering... Basically, I hear this game has 4 seasons. Winter, spring, summer, fall, apparently. So we're going to be following that line as we go through the game, and I think it starts to open up into giant sections that become a little bit more sort of sandboxy, a little bit open sandbox. Not so much a full open world, but each section will have kind of a bunch of things to happen. The other thing that I realized about this game, I know my first couple videos escaping on that train and everything were absolutely insane, and the tempo of the game sort of really got me, and I have to remember that this is a game that requires a slower pace. Actually, events in the games don't happen until you get there, and so you can take your time a little bit. It is more stealth option first, sort of adaptive stealth, that kind of thing. The other thing that you can remember about this game is it's a little more RPG than maybe a first-person shooter. Like it's a little bit slower of a game, so we're going to be taking our time even more from here on out. We're going to be exploring a lot more, especially with these open sandbox areas. We're going to be so each video may or may not end in the best beginning, middle, end way, because I'm going to try to keep them limited in terms of 30 to 40 minutes, 25 to 35 minutes, somewhere in that zone. So we're just going to take our time, and if that's the kind of gameplay you enjoy, then this series will be for you. And if it's not, then that's totally okay. But I don't really want to rush this game. I kind of want to enjoy myself, and it seems like to be a little bit different than the previous games, just a little bit in terms of how it operates. So that's just a little caveat as we move forward past sort of the intro sections, which were kind of what Introduction in Moscow were all about, and now we're kind of opening this up. So let's get it.
Why the long faces?
We are at a crossroads, so to speak, where everybody can help but wonder. What next? Where do we go from here?
Yes, more or less what I expected from you. But you got the picture. So, is your counter functioning? Have you checked it?
Yes, it's all green. Double checked it. Stepan's in the green too. We don't need masks here.
So,
Wow.
They were telling the truth.
Who was telling the truth? Why won't you answer? Who
Yeah.
are these people trying to kill us? Why would they shoot at you, the Order's commander? Explain something, at least. You owe us that.
Well, I might as well drop the bomb now. The war did not end.
What do you mean,
what?
did not end?
Let me finish.
Yeah, what?
Most of our cities are destroyed. The rest of the country is probably under enemy occupation. To avoid new nuclear attacks against us, Command chose the only viable course of action: to play dead.
Command.
To ensure radio silence, the SHIELD system was created. A network of radio jammers covering Moscow and suburbs. So that some radio enthusiasts wouldn't bring more bombs down on our heads by whining on air. And it's one of these jammers that got disabled by the hands of those present here.
Could you not have shared that before? Say, before Artyom took that radio outside and caught all that radiation?
No! I only got briefed half year ago. Under a strict, you talk, you die policy. And then had to tell my people we were securing a weather station.
Sir, with all due respect, if we can't go back, maybe we should advance and move on?
I have an idea, but... Artyom, Rather than carrying on with this silent disapproval of yours, check the airwaves. We should be out of the jamming range by now, so give it your best try. Look for transmissions from the Ark. Do you understand now why we are
Ark.
traitors in the eyes of command? We shut down a jamming
To use the
station,
radio.
shot up
Let's
the
listen to
guards,
these guys a little bit more, though.
destroyed a patrol train, and ran away from Moscow. Who even needs a trial when the case is so clear? There's no way back now,
Yeah, we're guilty.
which means we have to continue moving forward.
Command, what are you talking about?
The Moscow Defense Command. Have you ever heard of the Invisible Watchers?
I have, but they're just an urban legend.
Not at all. They are command.
Are you sure they care for more than just protecting their asses? You mentioned the Ark. What's that all about?
If Artyom finds their signal, you'll figure everything out. Otherwise, there is nothing to talk about.
Do you think finding that Ark of yours is going to fix everything?
The Ark.
I do not. But if you have a better idea, then go ahead.
Yes, I do. We have to find a good place for people from Moscow, like Artyom always wanted.
Giving them all to the enemy? A grand idea. I say, we solve our problems before moving on to saving all Moscow. All right?
That makes sense.
How is it going, Artyom? Found it yet?
Oh, I haven't even been looking,
There's a
because
whole
I'm listening to
world
you.
out here, a world where we could live.
So far, we only know one thing for sure. Radiation levels are nominal. The air is breathable.
Yeah, that's great.
What about the rain?
So what? You can't even breathe in Moscow.
The rain.
So, does anybody live out here? We don't know. How will they treat us? I don't know that either. What would they do if they found out there are survivors in Moscow? Again, I don't know.
What do you know?
Keep looking, Artyom. There's got to be a signal.
Yeah, I'm gonna look,
But
but
we
I...
do know we've been lied to. For 20 years, we've been lied to.
20
we
years,
know
man.
they've been killing people.
Collateral damage is inevitable in operations of such scale and secrecy. Yes, people have died, but the bombs killed tens of millions. Yet we are alive.
Yeah, this is strange,
we
man.
stayed alive throughout those years.
Artyom almost got killed. Is he
Yeah.
just collateral damage
A million
too?
times.
Guess what? Yes. If you have to choose between the life of a single man,
Yeah.
no matter how dear he is to you, and the lives of everybody
So Miller's
else,
been a little
all
conflicted.
the dwellers of Metro, then there's nothing to think about. Are you looking for it, Artyom? Come on, do your best.
I know, but I really want to
Would
hear what you have to
say
say. I want to
the
see
same
how long they'll
about me?
talk.
And about myself, too. I've spent my whole life protecting the people of Metro. Do you get it? My whole life. And I wouldn't hesitate for a second. I'm prepared to do anything to ensure Metro survives.
Right.
Even though they'd shoot me on sight if I returned now. It doesn't matter. Too many lives are at stake. Too many lives have already been sacrificed to hesitate now.
Okay.
Too many.
I'm sorry. I didn't want to. I mean,
Yeah,
but we have to make up our minds.
right.
How will things finish for all of us if we start out lying to each other and arguing? We need to be better.
You ask me how things will finish. Well, let me tell you. It all depends on Artyom now.
Yeah, right?
If he finds the frequency, if they are alive.
Yeah, so we're looking for the Ark, the...
Found it yet, Artyom? Please, try. It must be there.
Yeah. I want to... Are you going to keep talking? Okay, good. So we finally got them to finish.
Nothing yet, Artyom. This signal has got to be there.
Okay, so what I'm gathering is that so there's a command center that is somewhere else called the Ark, which is the invisible watchers of the government of Russia, and they didn't want Moscow to be bombed anymore. So in Moscow, even though they're somewhere else, in Moscow they put jammers all around Moscow, so the people there didn't know there was anybody outside, but really the outside didn't know there was anybody there. So we have been living that way for 20 years, not knowing that the higher-ups, the political higher-ups, have been, sort of leaving us in the dark to protect us. I mean, that's a little plot holy for me, just in terms of everything, because there's this command center, this arc that's elsewhere, and then apparently also Miller is worried that there's hostile forces that have also been invading Russia, so that's something that we'll have to be on the lookout for. Because I'm assuming that on this radio I'm going to find whatever it is that we're looking for, because why would we be talking about it so much? So let's see if we can find this channel. Use L to find radio stations. Okay.
Are you looking for it, Artyom?
Yeah, I am.
Do your best.
Guess we got to go all the way up. That's as far as we can go.
Please.
So let's go a little slower.
It must be there.
Oh,
This is the Special Restoration Committee speaking from the ARC Project base.
oh, there it is.
Keep looking, Artyom. It's got to be a scene.
Proceed to the rally point. Rally point location is
Wait a moment. What was that?
811-79. Area
Listen.
Area
18-5.
818-5.
Proceed to the rally point. Location is code 1811-9.
He's got a map.
Area
Where was that number supposed to be?
No, but why would...
Together, shall we
So
overcome
it
any
is
and all
somewhere
obstacles?
around here. The Yamantau Mountain.
The Yamantau Mountain.
From here should go like this. This is our goal.
Okay.
So, is this what you had in mind?
Yes, this is it. The ARC project is a whole city underground. Enormous stores, machines, the best experts. It is the Commander General's HQ.
The Commander General.
Leaders are there. They have already started the restoration work.
So they left Moscow?
And that Moscow is alive. It wasn't all for nothing. Everything will change. Everything. Do you get it? A new life is starting.
He's so excited.
For all the survivors of the
Ah!
Are there any single women in that place?
Great reaction. So
Great
I think the moment
reaction.
calls for it.
Oh my god.
Bring it out.
Bring what out, Colonel? Sir.
That thing that's been sloshing about in your canteen.
Oh my god.
You think I'm deaf or what?
That.
Demir.
Just a moment. I thought my ears were deceiving me.
Hiding a little juicy juice, as it were. So there's some hope here.
Trip to the Urals. So we should make ourselves comfortable, I guess.
All right.
Let's name this bucket of bolts at the very least, eh?
It's about time.
Let's go around and be done with it.
Nah, go to hell.
Who's that? Oh, that's the guy sitting in the corner.
Even better.
Jesus.
Come on.
Beelzebub.
How about Aurora, the Roman goddess of dawn and a cruiser of, you know what?
Okay.
I like it.
All right.
Beautiful name.
All right, you're Mac.
But the cruiser of what? I'll tell you later.
Looks like it's decided.
Huh. Sam sounds American to me. Does he have American clothes on? It's hard to tell. Okay.
Hey, Artyom, let's take a look at that map.
We had a
wait,
round that should
okay.
be enough. You're back. Full
One
steam
round?
ahead.
That's it? Full steam ahead.
Wow, that's some distance. I wonder how long it will take.
So we're trying to go from... Okay, let's see.
How are you, Alyosha?
Okay.
I was expecting an arrow from it.
So what does this do?
Ugly motherfucker instead.
You can resume the journey or continue exploring the train.
Because I know you.
Let's resume the journey. No, I mean,
And there's
explore the
definitely a
train.
lot of those up ahead.
Okay, what does this say?
I don't need a lot, really. It's quality that matters.
Okay. Whoop, I'm in your way, sorry. So it sounds like...
Look, Artyom, you should at least get some of that fresh air. No mask. This is what you've always dreamed about.
Yeah, for sure.
Andrei Ivanovich, how long have you been working with those jammer people for?
Uh-huh.
About a year, I guess. At first, they got me to sign up by singing of my experience helping people. Told me about weather stations and mutant migration observers. I was proud to be helping, boss. Then, about 2 months ago, they loaded a bunch of people onto my Aurora. The guards took them outside and came back alone. Told me they took the people to a nearby station, but I knew it had caved in years ago.
Wait, what?
A few days later, I was coming back from a run. Stopped the train, went and found those people. Soon they understood I saw that ravine. Fed me the usual lies about the spies and whatnot.
Did you believe them?
Well, it sure seemed safer to believe. But then, I just couldn't keep the charade
Believe?
up.
Okay.
Then the security officer told me straight. Whoever you speak to dies. The whole station dies with him if need be. So, that's how it went. But when I saw you, and then Artyom, I knew I wasn't alone anymore. You can't just keep these things in.
Now I understand why you helped us back then. Thank you.
Don't mention it.
Uh-huh.
God willing, it won't end up being done in vain.
Yes.
So,
Have you ever taken a train beyond city borders?
No. Didn't get a chance to go. I used to be a metro train engineer. I worked on the ring line. Ha! What a bore that was.
the ring line.
Going round and round all day, round.
Oh, that
and
going around.
And no real distance either.
Like the loop in
It took
Chicago.
about 30 minutes to make the lap. So I kept dreaming about how good it would be to just leave the metro and work on a real railroad. And travel around Russia. Not to run in circles like a rat in a maze. My wife wouldn't let me. We had kids, too.
Wow, we're getting a lot of backstory here.
About the railroad, about my dream, she'd stop sleeping with me for months in protest.
Oh my god, that's funny.
But when Moscow got hit, my Tatiana and little
Shashenka.
were at home.
Oh no.
I was working that day.
He lost his wife and daughter.
Iriska was waiting for me in the metro, returning from cram school.
2 daughters.
So we survived together that day. But
Oh,
in the
no.
end, I lost her too. TB.
Guy's had a rough life, man.
You know how it goes. So I'm driving here and talking to Tatiana in my head. See, I say, you couldn't stop me for good after all.
Huh.
Here I am, on a real railroad, a real engineer.
There you go.
I'm sorry I got so emotional that.
No, man.
Oh, it's my fault. I'm really sorry.
She's
And
sorry
thank
she
you for
asked.
telling me.
Okay, maybe that's it.
Hey, Artyom, is there any music on the air?
Any music? Let's see what. Does Miller have anything else to say?
Artyom, a couple of words.
Okay. Oh, I can smoke?
Artyom, what's done is done. Yes, I didn't stop you from going outside. Yes, I tried to talk you out. Yes, I didn't tell you you're not the only ones to survive. But even I didn't have the clearance. Not back then. This is a state secret. Do you understand? I've been granted clearance only after a fight with the T6. They said they needed me to teach the recruits because the war was still on. Don't you think I was shocked? What did our people in D6 die for? What did I lose my legs for?
Oh, man.
I understood. Because the war was still on. Security was paramount. Our people would have understood. So please, do the same. He would have spilled the beans to everyone in Metro. Goddamn Prometheus, a messiah. You must lead the people out of the caves.
Yeah, that's
Do
true.
you think you would have saved anyone? Remember that jammer? What if Moscow has been found out because of you? What if there are missiles inbound?
Missiles inbound.
Anyways, no matter what they think of me, I'm no deserter and will never become one.
Okay.
I'm ready to bear full responsibility for everything. But if there is even the smallest chance to earn my pardon, I will take it. Which means that we, like a runner that tripped, need to keep running ever faster just to keep balance. And don't dare you trip us all over again. Am I understood?
Yes, sir.
I hope I am. Anyway, at least now we know where to run. So, go back inside and take a look at the map.
Yeah.
The route is pretty obvious now.
Our route is pretty obvious now. Okay. Look at this. Like, I wonder how long this countryside lasts. Like, does it repeat? It's pretty loud out here, too. It must repeat at some point. I mean, they can't have, like, a whole map of that, can they? There's a bus. There's an abandoned city. So basically, I'm still a little confused, but he got clearance after the end of the last game, D6. And it allowed him, and they're telling him that the war is still on. Is the war still on, or is there something else nefarious going on? And we haven't heard about the Dark Ones at all so far in this, which I think is interesting, because at the end of the last game they said that they will come back, right? So that's really interesting. Alright, so let's go back inside. Okay. And this guy wanted some music. Let's see if is he gonna talk anymore? Are you not talking, sir? Is he hurt? I don't really know. Alright, there's somebody down there. Oh, we can sit back down here. Let's see. Oh, look at this. We can get up. We can drink. Okay. Pound our fist on the table. We can...
Attention, attention.
Oh.
This is the Special Restoration Committee speaking from the Ark Project base. Everyone who can hear me, everyone still loyal to the gods. Proceed to the rally point.
Okay, so this is the same message. Alright. So we know that. Oh shit. What? Where's that? Oh no! Oh man. So they're... Oh shit. So there are people out there. That's as far as it goes. Wait. Is there more of this? Alright. But we also want to look at, we can look at our journal. Oh, I earned a trophy for that. Join us on air. Diary. Oh, wait, what is this? Oh, these are the beginnings of the chapters. Okay, so we've seen those before. Crew. Whoa. I am gonna... Before I get into that, though, I want to go... There's no way to turn the volume down, is there? I'm trying to see if there's... Oh! Oh, that was interesting. I could turn it off. Okay, that's fine. Come on back. Gotta hold those down. Let's look at our book. I just want to see what this is. This is kind of cool. So we've got our crew. Is there... You can't zoom... You can't just read text, so... These are pretty long. Anna, my Anna, from the very beginning, I thought I was not worthy of you. What was I? A nerdy guy from a backwater station? A dreamer hearing voices in his head? An adventure seeker? And you, the most beautiful girl in the metro, the only daughter of the legendary Colonel Miller, the best sniper of the Spartan Order. But, how did you put it? There were lots of hard-boiled guys around. God, how much have we been through together? We had our bright days and really dark ones. Our feelings would die out and rekindle again. I even tried to leave, but couldn't go too far. You wanted a normal man, but you still accepted me as I am. You were the only one who didn't consider me mad when I spent days on the surface listening to the radio in fruitless attempts of receiving signals from the other survivors. But we were jammed, so therefore we couldn't hear it, right? You knew that every such sortie meant more radiation. Sortie. Wow, that must be a journey. Meant more radiation exposure for me and less chances for healthy children should you ever have them. Should we ever have them. And you would still let me go. You didn't prohibit me from dreaming. I always felt your gaze on me. When you would cover my back in... What? When you would cove my back in combat? Cover. They need some fucking proofreaders here. Cover my back in combat, and when I would lose my way, I was always in your field of view. I always knew that nobody could ever replace you, my personal guardian angel of death. If that's not love, what is? Interesting. Okay. Whoops. We also have Colonel Miller, our father. Miller, Colonel Svatslav Konstanovich Melenikov, the founder and the permanent commander of the Order of Sparta. Miller picked and trained each Spartan individually. He was the only one to come to the rescue of my home station when we were under attack by the Dark Ones. He was the only one to stand between the communists and the Nazis and prevent the conflict, which could well spell the ultimate end of our civilization. It was Miller who accepted me into the Order of Sparta, and blessed our union with Anna, his only daughter. I became his son-in-law, but could never amass the courage to call him Dad. Nothing but Colonel, with a Sir, of course. In the D6 defense, the Colonel lost his best fighters and his old self. Something is forever broken in him. He became cold, completely intolerant of any dissent. Sometimes I feel he's sorry he didn't object his daughter marrying me. He would have probably preferred Hunter as his in-law. But Hunter is missing. Still, ooh, Hunter from like the first game, I believe that was. But Hunter is missing, and I dragged his daughter into a maelstrom none of us might ever emerge from. Ooh, so I wonder if Hunter's gonna come back in this game. Damir's the funny one with the alcohol. Damir is probably the calmest of all the crew members. Damir is also extremely reliable. He'll always be there to help. He always does the hardest part of any job, goes on the toughest missions, and then instead of taking the well-earned respect and gratitude as one would expect, he starts bluntly, you know what I'm going to do for just a hot second? Oh, it won't actually let me get out of here. One of the toughest missions, and then instead of taking the well-earned respect and gratitude as one would expect, he starts blushing and saying it had nothing to do with success, and it all just kind of happened that way. There's only one painful issue for Damir, and that's his name. Given to him by his father, along with half of his blood. Damir can't forgive his father for leaving. going as far as to deny being his blood kin. Oh, that's interesting. What I want to do is I want to go back out of here just for a hot minute, and while we're continuing, because I want to keep reading these, but I really need that volume to go down for a hot minute. It's just a little much. But I do want to find out about these crew members, because they might come in handy. So Damir's the guy with the alcohol. Duke of Darkness, Igor Dukhov, the youngest, the bravest, and the craziest of us. Some joined the order out of desperation, others to protect people from danger, but Duke is just desperately in love with adventure. Whenever the colonel asks for volunteers, Duke is always first to shout, "Me!" no matter how hard and dangerous the mission ahead may be. Although then he gets denied and then I end up having to do it, right? A shame we don't have any medals in the order. Otherwise, Duke would be plastered with them. He keeps looking up to the more experienced fighters, competing with them for the most kills, missions, and wounds. For some reason, again, proofread, for some reason he pays particular attention to comparing his achievements with mine. Perhaps it's because I'm closest to his age. Anna once said about him, "Quit your whining, Artyom. There are people here who dream of becoming like you." About Duke. Was she right? Ah, I see. Interesting. Yermak, the old train conductor guy, the Aurora's permanent helmsman. Yermak knows his every detail down to the smallest bolt and feels every change in the work of any of his numerous and, truth be told, quite worn out mechanism with his heart. Yermak fit into our group so easily and naturally, it seems he was with us since forever, and yet Anna and I met him on a Hansiek base, where Yermak first helped me find my wife and then lead us in the hijacking of our beloved cruiser. Still, with Yermak's background, it's a small wonder he decided to leave Moscow with us. At the time of our meeting, we had only just learned of Hansa executing everyone trying to enter or leave Moscow. So they were killing people who were leaving or trying to come in because the secret radio blockage is really weird why they wanted Moscow to be sort of its own thing. With this, but Yermak had been living with this terrible knowledge for months, first out of fear for his daughter's life, then after she succumbed to her illness, TB, which we just learned about, out of sheer hopelessness. But now he is free, just like the rest of us, and if we ever come back to Moscow, we'll settle our scores with Hansiek leadership together. Ooh. So maybe there's some revenge in our future. Yermak says that every man has a destination in life, a place where the fate leads him to. And whenever life becomes hard, sometimes unbearably so, I always recall his words. This might be the end of the line, but it is still not your destination. Get up, walk on. Thank you, Yermak. Interesting. Alright, a guy named Idiot, or that's got to be a Russian name for something. Oh, okay. Idiot chose his nickname out of natural humility, or perhaps simply in honor of one of Dostoevsky's characters. In fact, he's anything but, being the most educated and well-read soldier in the order, landing the position of Miller's right-hand man back in the Metro. The question is, what does he really know about the reasons for people being held in the tunnels? Ooh, so he's got some secrets. The war that could be still going on, that could still be going on, as well as who is really in control of the Metro. Idiot likes talking a lot, but he never actually says much, even if you push him, save for his usual, on one hand, this could be true, while on the other, if you feel that the truth is close enough to touch. Talk to Idiot, he'll confuse you completely in no time. One thing about him that I don't understand at all is what could he even be looking for fighting in the Order's ranks? Interesting. So he's a really intelligent guy. Why is he fighting? What does he know about everything that's going on and why people were held in the Metro all those years? Alyosha. Alyosha, the life of every party, an avid lady killer, a favorite customer of the seediest joints of Syetsnoy Boulevard, and our survival. I'm sorry, I'm going to slaughter those pronunciations, and our survival on the surface instructor. After only a cursory glance, he can correctly tell if an abandoned building can last for years or is ready to collapse onto your head at the lightest touch. which ability saved him back in Moscow more than once. So he's somebody to listen to. Alyosha is the only member of our crew seemingly taking our journey for an exciting adventure, probably in anticipation of new meetings with representatives of the fair sex, of course. Yeah, he's our resident ladies man. Look at that little look at that those glasses. And look, these are all signed by no. Okay, so that one is signed by an artist, and it's -95, which is interesting. All right, Sam, who seems to be American. Sam is one of the Order's best. He might not be the strongest, fastest, or the best marksman we have, but he can certainly hold his own in a match with Spartan champions in each of these areas, and he definitely is the most unusual of us. Sam is an American, a Marine from the U.S. Embassy's guard detail who just happened to be in the metro when the Judgment Day came, eventually ending up as Colonel Miller's personal bodyguard. Now, has he been in the previous games? I don't know. Maybe he's new to this. He's got an American flag on his shoulder there on the bottom left. But Sam had to sit the battle for D6 out, okay, on the account of staying in a hospital with a serious wound, and was really hard on himself for not being there to protect the colonel. Well, there you go. That's the background on him, I guess. When he was needed the most. Not being able to protect the colonel when he was needed the most. As soon as he was back on his feet, still all bandaged, Sam would refuse to leave the colonel's side no matter what. He wouldn't even let anybody else push Miller's wheelchair, even when Andrew the blacksmith made the amazing prosthetics the colonel has been wearing ever since. Yeah, we saw those in the cutscenes there. They're pretty cool. Sam remained Miller's shadow and, of course, joined us aboard the Aurora. All of us, the crew members, are going somewhere. To some kind of destination, as Yermak puts it, even though none of us know where that destination would be. Sam, though, seems to know the place. If the world outside of Metro is not wiped out, there must be survivors in the U.S., and Sam can't stop thinking about his parents, who might still be alive, waiting for their son. I wonder if he feels he's traveling in the right direction with us. Interesting. So that guy's a very interesting character. I know I'm taking a long time reading through all these diary entries, but I think it's really important to understand who we're working with. We got two more. So Stepan. In day-to-day life, Stepan is so calm and nice it's hard to believe he is a member of the Order. We are a military organization after all. Once you see this giant in battle, though, you immediately see the reason for him being there. Stepan is completely fearless and amazingly strong. He handles a heavy machine gun as if it were a regular assault rifle. We're lucky to be on Stepan's side. Having him as an enemy would be a disaster. I wonder if we get to choose certain people for certain missions. That would be kind of fun. And then Tokarev, partial to the creations of the famous gun designer he shares the family name with, is a man in love with his craft. He is constantly busy with the crew's weapons, repairing, maintaining them, and making improvements. Tokarev knows everything there is to know about weapons and even more, and can talk about them for hours, but is not really interested in much else. Still, he doesn't just care for our firepower, but also works on our gear, constantly adjusting and inventing new things, laboring day and night to make sure we all perform to the best of our ability without being hindered by inferior equipment. What would we do without him? On a side note, he seems to be quietly and hopelessly, unrequitedly in love with my Anna. He's always worried about her, thinking of her, talking about her, but I can't even bring myself to feel jealous. Alright, well that's kind of interesting. Okay, so let's see. New World, Exhibition, my home station, now a part of Vedunka Commonwealth, together with Alexeyevskaya and Rizhiskaya. Living there has been an uneven ride, but I still have found memories of the time. Even though Anna, my wife, would disagree, she positively hated it there, having traded the position of the Order's best sniper for everyday chores of a regular mushroom farmer. Interesting. So that's where we were. And then Hansa, this is something that I do think we need to know about. We're going to try to get through this diary entry, and then we'll stop this particular episode, sort of as a history episode. The most powerful faction of the Metro, the Commonwealth of the Stations of the Ring Line. The Commonwealth of the Stations of the Ring Line. Okay, that's the thing that Yermak said he was a driver on. The soldiers in Hansa... The soldiers in Hansa's employ enjoy the best pay and equipment, and thus are highly motivated to train and perform their duties exceptionally well, making up in proficiency and skill for what they may lack in numbers. The only force to be objectively better than Hanseatic troops in terms of professionalism training is the Spartan Order, which yours truly is honored to be a member of. As far as I was able to surmise from the Colonel's reluctant confession, Hansa is the vehicle of the Invisible Watchers, the real government of Moscow, controlling all the factions from the shadows. They clearly have too much power to just live and let live, and thus engaged in some shady business, including the SHIELD project, designed to keep Moscow under an impenetrable blanket of radio jamming to prevent further nuclear strikes against the capital. So interesting. Alright, let's go up a little bit more so we can read the rest of this. The project itself would be a benevolent initiative, even if quite misguided, had it not been connected with mass murder of people coming into or trying to leave, because they didn't want people to know that Moscow still existed for some reason, maybe because it was the capital, as well as anyone and everyone learning anything about it. Right. Anna and I were captured by their patrol after we saw the Aurora entering the city perimeter, and just for that terrible crime, I was put to the gun. Anna's agony at the moment is something I will not forgive them for as long as I live. Interesting. Okay, so that helps us to clarify kind of the background of this story. Creatures, we have pretty much, we know the Watchmen, these annoying beasts hunt in packs, and if you see one, you'd be better to dispose of it immediately. Otherwise, it might howl and call in the rest of the pack, and it will howl as soon as it sees you. So we want to stay away from the Watchmen, because they come in packs. Demons, these giant flying mutants comfortably occupying the position of the apex predator in the food chain of the poison wasteland stretching above the tunnels of Moscow Metro, have, thanks to their enormous physical strength, speed, and aggressive demeanor, successfully settled a huge territory. That is hardly surprising, as there are very few animals capable of ever facing a demon. Those that could fight it one-on-one and win are even fewer and further between, while a demon can easily fly away from any of them. We encountered these in both the previous games. They were called bitches by the first game because they're just evil, right? And you just want to stay away from them. Luckily, because of these strengths, the demons, like the large birds of prey of the past, prefer to live and hunt alone or in very small groups, and thus do not present an immense threat to a careful traveler. We basically stay away from them. And the dog. The common dog seems to be no match for the messed up world of the surface, but they manage to survive despite being surrounded by mutants and human enemies. So they definitely are a threat to be considered, especially when you consider their keen senses and ability to easily alert their masters to your presence. Oh, interesting. So there might be dogs along with some of these guys. So this is really crazy. We've got equipment. So these are all the things we know about. We've got our gas mask, right? You have to, I'd hope to be able to get rid of it on the surface, but it looks like that was just a pipe dream. There are lots of places where they become, where this stuffy things becomes a necessity, so we still need that. The bracer is our arm thing. The bracer all Spartans wear are not an important piece of armor, but still routinely save our lives. They are used to mount such vital pieces of equipment as Geiger counters, warning us of dangerous radiation, hotspots, and watches. Wait. Such vital pieces of equipment as Geiger counters, warning of us of dangerous radiation, hotspots, and watches. Necessary for keeping track of gas mask filter usage. Oh, okay. The watch is combined with another gadget that, despite its tiny size, is also vitally important. The light indicator. Many a time its blue light hinted to me to find a better shaded hiding spot to remain stealthy. Oh, that's an error. That right there is an HTML mark. That BR with the, I think that's something. That's interesting. It looks like that's another sort of error in here. I like how the screen is subtly shaking because we're still on the train. The lighter, this piece of trench art I got from Sukhoi, has been with me through a lot, but its value is far from just sentimental. I always rely on it whenever I need to start a campfire, find my way out of a dark tunnel by following the faintest draft, go through a spider bug lair, I want to get rid of their cobwebs, or simply need a backup light source, and it never fails. So you always have your lighter. And then this, which I think is really interesting, the Spartan suit is not just uniform all members of our order wear. The suit provides a considerable degree of environmental protection, which when combined with a gas mask allows Spartans to be reasonably safe during prolonged sorties? I'm going to look that word up. I don't actually know that word. It must be journeys, sorties to the surface. Yeah, interesting. The suits also accommodate a modicum of armor and padding, ensuring when combined with an armored vest, flexible and reliable protection that can be easily configured for heaviest of engagements or reconnaissance missions when swiftness of movement becomes the main priority. So we didn't really get to modify that at all in previous games, so maybe we do in this one. I actually don't know. We're all discovering this together. So, and then the weapons. These I do want to read. And then this is an extremely long episode. We may cut it in half. I don't know. We might split it up previous. So anyway, but we should read these because the guns are always really interesting in terms of what they do and what they can't do. And in this game, I think even more so. So, the Kalash. Despite the vulnerable age of this weapon, which before the Judgment Day had played a considerable part in hundreds of conflicts all over the world, its unparalleled reliability and considerable firepower make it a prized possession in the tunnels of the Metro and, of course, on the surface. A standard Kalash is simply a solid assault rifle with all its characteristic pros and cons, but thanks to the talent of Sparta's gunsmith and Tokarev personally, the model our order fields can accommodate a huge variety of upgrades, from extended magazines to various sights. Not only that, with a few simple operations and spare parts, it can be turned into a weapon of a different class, from a short machine pistol that excels at close range to a light machine gun. This does not mean that the underlying concepts, simplicity and reliability, have been sacrificed either. Even though my Kalash is many years my senior, it saved my bacon on many an occasion and would shoot like nothing happened even after taking a dip in the marsh. Interesting. Weapons are something we people are definitely good at making. They will probably be ready to kill years after there remains nobody on the face of the planet capable of pulling the trigger. No shit about that. That's interesting, though, that we're going to be able to make these into different classes of weapons just based upon what we can put on them. I think that's a new feature of the game, too. What would be the Achilles heel of a shotgun? The long reload cycle, perhaps. And to remedy that, it looks like the designer of this monstrosity was ready to sacrifice anything. Reliability, simplicity, even the common sense. Still, in terms of sheer firepower, this cross between a meat grinder and a lawnmower is second to none. And Tokarev says that despite its freakish looks, it won't explode in my arms in the nearest future, of course. If I exercise necessary caution and clean it regularly, I guess I'll pretend I believe him. So that's the Shambler. Okay, that's kind of fun. The revolver's our normal weapon. In the Metro, where ammo is worth its weight in gold, a weapon's reload speed is usually a distant second or even third priority, while its reliability and simplicity become critical. Humidity, dust, poor quality, handmade ammunition. Pulling a revolver trigger the second time when it misfires is much faster than fixing a feed failure in an automatic pistol. And in the confines of the tunnels, enemies might deny you the time needed for that altogether. That's why the armory station started producing copies of ancient Nagant revolvers. Soon they learned that even 7 bullets sometimes are not enough to stop a charging Nasalis, so they had to switch to a more powerful and exotic for Russia 44 Magnum caliber. A hit with one of these is usually enough to kill a mutant on the spot. And that is exactly why such revolvers were a welcome addition to the Spartan Order's arsenal. Besides, due to the fact that they retained the Nagant revolver's gas sealing mechanism, they can be fitted. Whoops. Let's go all the way down. They can be fitted with suppressors and modifications introduced by our gunsmiths. Let them accommodate any other add-ons from carbine type stocks to night vision sights. So the revolver, I used basically in the first game, Metro 2033, I used revolver pretty much like the entire time. So an improvised noise decoy, yep, we got that, and then throwing knives, which we know about. Okay, so that's pretty much the entire diary, this entire sort of thing. So I'm going to reset my volume. We're going to go around. I think we got a couple other conversations to check out. I know Tokarev is in the back, and I think there's some some people elsewhere maybe on the train, because there's only a couple people in here. So we'll stop this episode here, and we will come back, and I'll turn up the volume, and then we'll keep going. All right. Thanks for indulging me in that, sort of getting the wide history of everything that's going on in the past and the weapons and all that. It's really cool. So as we end, we'll take one more sip of our juicy juice. Oh, it's empty. Okay. Well, we drank it all.